We are now in the last 2 months of 2024 in the low country South Carolina real estate market. And we're coming to you today with the top 3 tips for buyers and sellers on strategies to take advantage of the market before the end of the year. So let's get after it. Okay, Chris, so here we are. We're coming deeply into Q4 of 2024, and we wanted to talk to folks about some of the top 3 tips that we're seeing for strategies for buyers and for sellers as we're coming into these last 2 months of the year. And this is based on not just what we're seeing right now, but what we've seen in the past, sort of lessons that we've learned and where we've seen some of our clients benefit. So let's get after it. We're going to start on the buyer side. One of the things that we're seeing right now around the election, and we know from last year that we're starting to see more predictable distraction from the market around the holidays. We get it. People are traveling more than they used to in the prior few years due to COVID, et cetera, and people just want to kind of do that. So it tends to distract activity from the market. We get that. So the number one tip for buyers is take advantage of that, because if you're someone who doesn't have to be distracted, if you're someone that has the ability to focus, maybe be in town, maybe pay more close attention to the properties that are coming up in listing delay or coming on the active market, you're going to have less competition than what you've had in the rearview mirror. And less competition when you're a buyer is really a great thing. So we're encouraging people to take advantage of this opportunity where maybe you could get on the second tip, maybe you find a seller who has a particular motivation to go to contract sooner than later. Maybe for some reason they want to close in 2024. Maybe they have been on the market for a while and they're a little tired of being on the market. So there's an opportunity to leverage that. And maybe they've got distraction plans for the holidays, whether they just don't want people coming in their home during the holiday period. They want to go ahead and engage and get their home all decorated, et cetera. Maybe they've got travel plans and they don't want to have to worry about all of that happening while they're out of town or out of the country. There's going to be absolutely opportunities working with our agent to kind of sniff out where there's seller motivation, where they may have an incentive to, let's go to contract soon. And what that means is usually maybe a better chance for a better price, maybe better terms, and maybe even some flexibility where maybe if a buyer is performing a little bit earlier than what they were planning on, maybe that seller's interested in a post-closing occupancy, maybe a lease back where it's like, hey, listen, if you'll go ahead and close with me now, I'll rent the house for the next 3 months or something like that and bridge into Q1 or Q2. So what else occurs to you, Chris, on the third approach for buyers to be considering?
Well, our market pulls in a lot of investors, folks, and not just pure investors, but folks that want to offset some of the carrying costs of home ownership or villa ownership by renting out the property. Well, don't wait until the spring rental season to do that. So by securing a property now, let's just say in Q4, you have time to interview rental management companies. You have time to do and address things that are going to help draw more rentals. And you have time to start that booking process for the peak rental season early. If you wait until, let's just say, February, March, you really get compressed and you're still going to have to do all of that, but now you're doing it as opposed to generating your income. So if you're thinking that you might want to offset your purchase price, your carrying cost with some rental income, this is an ideal time to jump on that now so you're not pressed.
Super smart strategy, especially for property that isn't already on the rental program or maybe is in need of a tweak, a change of management, or maybe it's already with a management company. Maybe it's a situation where you're going to give time for those current rentals to clear out, and then you're ready to take it over on your own VRBO program, et cetera. All right, so great tip on that. Let's talk about on the seller side. Okay. Someone who's maybe not already on the market right now, maybe they're thinking about coming to market, and they're thinking, well, maybe this is or isn't the best time to come to market. What are some of the leading tips for sellers and potential sellers to be thinking about?
Something cool that we've been doing, we've actually been doing this for several years now. We call it our Lightswitch listing. So we have a client that is, maybe they do not want to have their house listed for sale over the holidays. Maybe they are thinking of coming at the first of the year or somewhere like that. But why wait to take photography when the grass is brown and the sky's not as compelling? We have had some of the most pretty weather in October, and I expect the same for November. And so the light switch listing is basically this. Let's go ahead and capture the home, at least the exterior of the home, while it's so pretty outside. And let's capture the interior of the home or certain areas if the home is going to be overly or highly decorated for the holidays. And if we can get that and bank it, and then when we're ready to come to market, when the client is ready to come to market, we already have the majority of our photos already done. Now, obviously, if something changes, we'd have to go and kind of fill in and make up, and we want to make sure it's an accurate representation when we come to market. But for the folks that are considering coming to market, maybe down the road, this is still an ideal time. We don't have the leaves falling. We don't have the pollen right now. Skies are gorgeous. Amazing sunsets. If we have waterfront properties, anything like that that has a sunset exposure, you get some of the prettiest sunsets right now.
I love that. And we see clients that are using this where they might actually be in the market right now. They're shopping for a piece of real estate. They don't want to go on the market until they find their replacement property. But as soon as they find the replacement property, they realize that that seller might not entertain a contingency for them to sell their current home. How quickly can we get their current home on the market? Well, a lot more quickly if we've already done sort of our pre-programming, photography, narrative, everything's right there. That's why we call it Lightswitch. So as soon as they call us and say, okay, go to market, we go immediately. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is kind of getting prepared. Like if you're thinking into the near term, maybe it's 3, 6, 9 months from now, you're a potential home seller. There may be some prep that you need to do on your property. And usually the way to figure that out is to get other sets of eyes on your property. The two ways we sort of see that is a pre-sale home inspection. We're increasingly seeing buyers that are getting jittery when they see after a contract's been negotiated, they get a home inspection, and everybody's surprised, including the seller, there's some issues that need to be addressed. You're on a compressed timetable, and sometimes it can kind of knock the shine off the penny for a buyer thinking, oh, I didn't realize there was going to be issues with this house. We're wanting to get ahead of that, and a pre-sale home inspection is a genius way to do that. Information is power, and it's just a great strategy. The other way to do that is, just with us and with our team, on-site consultation, just coming on and saying, this is not an official inspection, but just walk around. Tell me what I need to be thinking about. Is that staging? Is that visual strategy? Is it decluttering? Is it repair issues? All of that input for a seller, when you might have action plans that you've got to take, and you want a little bit of time, especially during times of distraction, contractors might not be as available during the holidays. Getting ahead of that, having a little bit longer runway can be super helpful.
Sure.
So one last thing, Chris, what do you think your best last tip for sellers in terms of timing?
It's pretty obvious. I mean, and it's national. I mean, everybody thinks, hey, I'm thinking of selling. I'm going to come on the market in the spring.
Right.
Okay. Well, what is that? Every year that happens. We track all that stuff, and it happens here too. Even though we have a year-round marketplace, even though we're not dealing with shoveling snow and all of that sort of thing, everybody has this mentality that, hey, I need to come to market in the spring. Well, what does that do? That floods the market in the spring. So folks that can get ahead of that, there are eyeballs on this market now. There's a lot of people looking. They're with their family. They've got time. They're looking on their devices. And if there's 10 houses to look at, and yours is one of those considerations, you've got a good chance to sell. All of a sudden, if you decide to do what everybody else does and wait till April, there's 50 houses on the market, right? That you're thumbing through. So you got a lot more competition. So it's just a way to get ahead of things. And we've got a lot of different ways to help do that minimizes the stress, that minimizes the hardship and all of that sort of stuff. It's just an easy way to come in. And then you just don't have as much competition. And then when the competition does come in, you're going to be subject to pricing and positioning your house or how competitive your listing is going to be based on what others have decided to do, as opposed to you leading the charge. You're setting the benchmark, so to speak, of, okay, this is kind of where this needs to be right now because I don't have any competition. I think you've got more power, more control in that.
And that comes full circle. We talked about tip number one, buyers right now having maybe into these last couple months, having less competition. Always what we're looking for, strategies for our clients, whether you're sellers or buyers, to have the best advantage into the market. So there you have it. Those are our tips for how to wrap up the next 2 months as we come to a conclusion. Here we are in November already. So there you are, guys. Appreciate your time and attention. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like the content we're putting out there, and we will talk to you guys soon.